Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Inspiring Educators. And I'm sure you can see the excitement on my face right now. We have a very, very inspiring education leader with us today. Ms Anita Makkar. She is the education leader of HDFC Schools India and also the founder principal of HDFC School Gurugram. Before that, by the way, this is not the only school that she's founded or, being a part of the founding team. Before that, there's another school which is called DAV School Sector 14 Gurugram, a very iconic school of India. She was also the founder principal there, and she literally ran that school for 29 years before she became a part of the HDFC group. What I can tell you is this is one of those podcasts where you'll meet an inspirational educator whom we can learn so much from. So without further ado, let me welcome Ms Anita Makkar. Hello, ma'am. How are you doing?
Thank you, Rishabh. I'm doing good. I'm fine. And thank you for your such kind words. And you have been too generous.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I've tried to do justice by introducing yourself, but I would really want if you could introduce yourself to the listeners, because when it comes directly from you, it creates a lot of impact. So if you could please share a small snippet of your journey and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Rishabh. Thank you for your generous words and kind words. I'm Anita Makkar here. Started my journey immediately after I did my master's and of course a year's BA degree training. So my result wasn't out yet. Started teaching mathematics to grades 8 and 10 at Anitas Model School, Punjabi Bagh. Worked there for only a couple of years, teaching 11th and 12th also. When DAV thought of starting a school in Gurugram, so they asked me to start a school. There was nothing. I was given 5,000 rupees, a table and 4 chairs, and a rented accommodation. To start a school, we started from there. And it was, I also myself did not know how it will go. So it was kind of, you just jump into the ocean and into the river and you figure out whether you would sink or you would float or you would swim. So it was like that. But then, that point of time, you're full of energy and you want to learn what it is going to be, and you feel challenged and you want to challenge yourself. So this is how it happened. And with the God's grace, DAV became such a known school and it flourished well. The children, they did very well. So be it academics, be it other activities. And today I can boast that my children are all over the world. Wow. In different professions, best of the companies. And they're not only professionally, they are good, but they're really doing well in their personal lives as well. They're being good human beings. And when I meet them and they tell me that this is what they have done for the community here, and they are associated with this particular NGO, and they're doing this community service, so you really feel good about it. This is how I started.
Superb. And, you've been very humble about how big DAV 14 became big because of all of your efforts. I know it would not have been easy to really start something at the time when you started. Gurugram was not Gurugram as of today, as it is today. At that time, it was still coming up. It was still in very nascent stages, but then building that iconic school then and then building it till here, I'm sure it would have been a journey. What I would also love, if you shared was, how did HDFC School happen? I know, you were there, you built an empire, you're like the head of a big school, and then saying, I want to do it all over again. Let me start a new chain. How did that happen?
So this is, Rishabh, I tell you, when HDFC approached me at some point of time, then with my eyes closed, I said, no, I'm not going to leave DAV. It was very clear because I had set up another school. By that time, I was setting up another school in Gurugram, DAV 49. That's again a big school. And of course, I was looking after another 10, 12 schools of DAV around Gurugram in the rural areas, in semi-urban areas. So my hands were also there full and contributing to the administrative tasks, like be it the teachers training or be it the auditing of schools. So created all those systems also. But then somehow at times, I think destiny takes you Then after a year again, they said, you still want to think about it. And somewhere they challenged me that this is whatever their words were. So, ek bari to you just please meet HDFC people. So it was kind of a, I know when I met them and then got to know the kind of thought process they had, that also made me give into it, because then the temptation was that you are going to start another educational chain.
Yeah.
And you're going to lead that chain, and you would, whatever you have learned during your teaching career, you would implement the new pedagogies, the new learnings, because a child is a kind of, we all say it's a clay and you can mold him the way you want. Yeah. But I tell you can do so much with children. And if you get a clean slate again after 29 years, you would like to make beautiful flowers there. You won't draw only straight lines.
Absolutely.
So then the canvas was there and you can paint the picture that you wanted, always wanted, okay, wish I had, again, I could do it. So that was I think the challenge with me, that I challenged myself. Yeah. And also another challenge was doing it, setting it. Now it was kind of an autopilot, I should say.
Right.
And again, going back to the roots and again, starting with designing the learning designs, the curriculum, the school classroom design, the school design. So it was a challenge also, and it was a pleasure also to be creative. So that was my motivation.
It's amazing, and I know, both DAVs as well as HDFC schools today are delivering outstanding education. No Absolutely. Question on which one is better or anything. But the methodologies delivered in both of them are pretty different. I know that for sure, that the studies that we have done, market research and everything, that HDFC follows a very different approach towards learning than what DAVs do.
Yeah.
And for you to come out of one approach and then unlearning a lot of things, I'm sure it would have meant unlearning a lot, and then relearning and then building something new from scratch. One, how difficult was it? And second, how was the experience for you as a person?
Here I would say, Rishabh, being in DAV also, once you reach a point and then you want to experiment, you never wanted to become like a regular school. Subah aaye, shaam ko gaye, and it's all concentrated on academics. I played with IGCSE curriculum. I played with IB curriculum. Then fortunately became a part of writing content for CBSE International, where it was an amalgamation of all the international boards and the CBSE board, keeping Indian ethos in mind. So though that experimentation always went on. So, but then of course, it was a challenge to start afresh. And that was an organization which was 135 years old at that time. And here was absolutely a new organization. But this is, I think, God gave me that courage and also that insight that now then you cannot say that you haven't, because there in DAV we created what was the need of that hour.
Right.
I tell you a small incident, when we started a school from nursery classes, after 10 days, parents started asking, I want my child to write ABCD, and I want my child to speak in English. So it was a challenge during those days in Gurugram. But now, and we really had to, even at that time, had to tell parents that we are going to start first. Children should know how to listen, how to speak, and then they would read and write.
Yeah.
So these are the steps, and children would speak in English also, and they would learn how to write. But there we need to have patience. It's not a kind of a rote learning school. And all the emphasis is not on only writing. Right. So that time also, that was a challenge to bring that culture of a public school environment where you have activities apart from your academics. So that was a challenge at that time. So,
Sure.
but then after 29 years, if you are setting up a school, generations have changed.
Absolutely.
And today, if you take a child and the child is going to get into the professional life, university life after 15 years, 17 years. So you have to build up an institution which is looking at what kind of students you want.
Yeah.
The kind of adaptability you want, the kind of skills you want them to adapt to, the knowledge that they have to acquire. So it was a very different call at that time when I joined HDFC, and very thoughtfully, because you cannot teach skills in isolation. That, okay, this is one period I'm going to teach you analytical skill. This is one period I'm going to teach you intrapersonal or interpersonal skills. No. It has to be embedded in the curriculum itself. So with that in mind, designed curriculum and the classroom transactions. So that was a challenge, but it was really so satisfying to do it.
You know what you've just shared is not just a big lesson for all the teachers and all the educators out there, but even all the startup founders.
Absolutely.
What you just shared was that whether it was 30 years ago or today, what you did was you went out and you said, what exactly would my customers, clients, parents want, and how do I deliver it to them in the best possible way that the students as well as their parents are satisfied by what we are doing. And then you built what you built 29 years ago. And then you came to HDFC and you said, now my target audience is going to be this different set of people. I can't just go back to my same principles and build something for them. You rather went to the first principles of developing a product and you said, what are the outcomes that these guys want? And let me build something around that. And hats off, doing that after reaching a place where many people start feeling that I know it all now because I've done it for so long. Coming down and then doing it all over again, I have goosebumps right now. It's amazing how you just so nicely, so conveniently put it out there. But I think it can be one of the biggest management lessons that all of us should be taking from. Just love this anecdote. And what I would really love to know here is, I know that you were able to adapt to it. You were able to understand the first principles of education. But I'm sure you have to still hire teachers many times who are maybe coming from the same perspective. And I'm sure you would be training them on multiple things. But what are the first challenges that you face whenever you are hiring a teacher from a different background of, different perception about education or different kind of curriculum that they're coming from, and they're coming to you? What are the first challenges that you face and how do you solve them?
No, of course, you are absolutely on the spot when you say that if you take teachers who have a lot of experience with them, maybe 10 years, 12 years, in a regular kind of a conventional school traditional where teachers are talking, children are listening, a bit of interaction is there. But totally changing them into experiential learning system, it takes time. We also have to have the patience, but we do see whether the person is going to adapt to the new situation and has that wavelength of creativity, has that capacity to unlearn and learn.
Got it.
We talk about it, but then in practice, whether the person is able to do it or not.
Yeah.
So then we have a very set a week's induction program before they join us. And then another thing that also, of course, everybody looks at the mastery of the subject, the delivery of the subject. Other thing is how you connect with your children, whether you have that compassion or not.
Yeah.
If you have that compassion for your children, for your own children, you can go to any length to do anything for them. And in school, if you think that they are your children, you are responsible for their future. Every child is an individual entity for every parent. If you have it in your mind, you would give your more than 100% to your children. So if that ethos is there in the person, then that person can adapt to any situation.
This is very well put again. So what I hear is that while technical skills and subject skills and pedagogy skills are important, if the person does not show compassion and love towards what they are wanting to do, that becomes a big red flag for you. And for you, it's a very clear filtration mechanism.
Absolutely.
So let's share something. Let's share some secrets with the listeners here then. What are some of your favorite questions that you ask when interviewing a teacher that can tell you whether the person is passionate about things or not?
I ask them, give me your best example where you have made any change in the life of a child, because you have diverse classrooms. Right?
Yeah.
Bright ones, they would do whatever, whether you teach them or you don't teach them, still they would take the best out of the teacher.
Right.
Then there is in the middle where you can nudge them, you can push them, you can pull them. But you have to mentor the last child in your class.
Right.
So what did you do? How did you do it? So first is, how did you identify? So when you go to a class, you have such an experience, whatever the number of years. So that is my question to them, because I would like to know from them. And of course, we talk to them about their experience, and you talk to them about what is your vision for your classes.
Right.
So when anybody states a vision, it's a kind of a question. You can know whether the person is progressive or is very comfortable in his or her own space, whether the person would be ready to challenge himself or herself, would be able to adapt to the new situation. Of course, our interviews are quite rigorous.
Sure, I'm sure. I'm going to pick up this one very interesting thing from this. Why not, and I'm going to be talking about this separately on a separate podcast as well, do a live on that. But then why not teachers have something called, there is a reference check that people put on their CVs. These are the people you can call and check, where they put usually the name of their principals and vice principals and coordinators. Imagine having name of 2 students where we say this child was at this level when I became the teacher and reached at this level. And you can call, this is the reference, this is the email ID. You could reach out and ask about the story, how we work together. All the teachers listening, imagine, do you have the confidence to write down the name of 2, 5, 10 students whose life you transformed? You write that down there. I don't think there'll be any school in the world who is able to talk to a student whose life you transformed and they would not want you in their school. So quick hack for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely, Rishabh. I'm happy that you have given this idea to us.
Yes,
to all the teachers, all the principals, all the schools.
Right? So these are quick hacks. So teachers, get ready. Next time you're getting into the classroom, that extra impact that you're making, you're not just making on that student's life, you're making on your life and your career as well, because the next best school is waiting to see what was that impact that you created in the classroom. Cheers. Let's go ahead. Let's discuss with Anita ma'am, what further did she do in her life. So, we've discussed about teachers. We've discussed how they should be compassionate, how they should be passionate and other things. But teachers are scared right now. They're scared because of technology. They're scared because of multiple changes coming into the system. What is your perspective on teacher and relationship between a teacher and a technology? I think you're somebody who is in the right position of authority to even talk about where did we start from as an education community and where are we going towards, because you've built both kind of schools. So what do you think should be a relationship between a teacher and technology?
So if you see that you have to be friends with technology, no way you can do without technology. And I give you, in the year 1990, when we were setting up computer science as a subject in computer labs, so Intel had come up with the 60 hours of training for master trainers. Mm-hmm. So at that time, I trained myself. And I used to go to another school to be trained, and then I trained my teachers also. With my 5-6 colleagues, we used to drive together and come back, and then we trained all our teachers. And over a period of time, of course, there has been an N number of trainings. I myself have undergone training, and Technology is a beautiful tool if you use it correctly, but it can be a danger also if we do not sensitize our children how to use it.
Right.
So, the moment we started in 2015 our school and started with Microsoft tools and ensured that all my teachers were Microsoft educators, certified trainers. So that way it helped us during COVID period, so we didn't have to think about it. In a day's time, we switched over to our Microsoft Teams. We did not waste even a single day. We did not delay our session. 22nd, it was announced. 26th, we had to start our session. We started our session on 26th. By that time, teachers were ready with their teams. They were ready with the technological tools. Everything was set. So we can't do away with technology. And today also we ensure that teachers are using technology. And because for that, you have to always keep on hand-holding.
Right.
Because it's very easy to go back to your old ways. And it takes time, it takes courage for everyone to adapt to the new tools.
Right.
So for that, it's a continuous process. Then of course you have Adobe, you have Microsoft, which really keeps on pushing you. And you keep on working on this with your teachers. Yeah.
Got it. Superb. So what I hear is technology is an inseparable tool today.
Absolutely.
And many of us might be comfortable with it on the first go. Many of us might have to get trained. We might have to put in an extra hour. But once we are clear about what is the impact that it creates, it becomes an inseparable part. You very beautifully shared that it took just one day for your team to shift from offline to online classes in COVID.
Absolutely.
But I'm pretty sure it's not just about that they knew technology. I'm sure they also knew the first principles, the intricacies of teaching. And for them, it was just a change of platform. They just wanted to go in and deliver the same impact online now. And I think that's where the role of technology also comes in. Where if we'll take an approach where technology is the ultimate thing and pedagogy is not, technology would fail. And if we say today, at least in today's time, pedagogy is the ultimate thing and technology is not, pedagogy would fall. It's the marriage which will really make it.
Between pedagogy and technology, there can't be in today's time, no pedagogical practice can succeed without technology. If you want to ensure that you are able to reach out to your children, and today's generation, they are natives.
Oh, yeah.
They are so tech savvy. If you are not a step ahead of them, they will not value you as a teacher.
Absolutely. My daughter goes to year 3, grade 2, year 3.
Okay.
And the other day she comes home and she shows me the presentation that she's working on fossils. And I'm amazed. I literally sat with her and said, can you show me how did you work on this transition from one slide to the other? And yeah, that comes sit with me, I'll tell you. She's 8 years old and she's there. It's amazing. I'm with you, completely with you on what you're saying there. And I think that's where my next question really comes from. We are transitioning from earlier teaching methodologies to newer teaching methodologies, which also means that we will be transitioning from one particular generation of teachers to the next generation of teachers. And this not just means that the teachers with a lot of experience will have to upskill themselves. I'm also saying that the youngsters who will be entering education field as teachers will have to be prepared.
Absolutely.
The big question that is coming continuously is, usually the next generations are not looking forward to becoming teachers, which is creating a large teacher shortage globally.
Yes.
What is your thought on that? As a education leader, do you get scared about that? Do you think we should be doing something in a big level? What are your thoughts?
Absolutely, Rishabh. It is worrisome. I would say this process started about somewhere around 12 to 15 years ago, when the younger generation stopped even thinking of teaching as a profession.
Yeah.
whenever you go to grade 11, 12, or even now 8 and 9, nobody says they want to become teachers.
Yeah.
But still, some of them end up being teachers. The best brains, they stop going to pursue pure science or pure humanities or pure subjects, honors, then masters, then PhDs, very few. And today we can see, after so many years, now we see that it is not easy to find a good teacher.
Absolutely.
It is difficult. And now, of course, we say that, okay, we find a good person, a person with good academic record, with mastery over the language, everything, we see that. But still, of course, that those values of being a teacher, if you are becoming a teacher by choice. So your thought process also works like that. It is worrying. And I would say that I tell everyone that please look at teaching as a profession, because it is so satisfying. And now we have some teachers, very good teachers, after working in the corporate sector for 10 years, 12 years, and they're coming back, doing their B.Ed and coming back and saying that we want to be teachers.
Beautiful.
So that way also I feel good about it, because they have the world experience of a different industry. They bring that experience to the classroom. And of course, they become, because they are coming by choice now. And we tell them, we ask them, you will get tired, because children would ask you questions. You have been used to sitting at one place and doing your work. Office space is very different from a classroom space. You have to match with the energies of young children.
Oh my God, it's so difficult, and it's so different from what happens in a corporate.
But then those who have the courage to leave their comfortable, cushy, well-paying job and coming to the education sector, that shows their commitment.
Absolutely.
And somewhere we are finding that even parents who have worked in the corporate sector, mothers especially, or the fathers also, they are working. They are so happy to come to school and talk to children, teach their subject. Talk about financial literacy, talk about technology, talk about managing financial markets, talking about design thinking.
Wow.
So you get people, and I'm happy about that.
Super.
As long as they come back.
As long as they want to come again and again and keep doing it. And it's not just a one-time lecture because I just wanted to put a tick in the box.
So we have mothers who have been CAs or masters in computer science and MTech. They are coming and they are ready to teach primary classes.
Got it.
So that's okay. And very recently, I give an example. I was in Pune for recruitment for our teachers, and brilliant girl for mathematics from Delhi College of Engineering, which is now DTU.
Right.
And she says, no, I want to teach in school. I said, come, brilliant girl. So still there are people, I would say that till the time the world is there are going to be people who would be passionate about this profession. And that's how our children would learn.
Thank you so much for that. One last part of the podcast before we go, and this is where you and I have to work together, and hence I'm seeking your help. So I feel the same, that the world needs many more passionate teachers, and we need to bring youngsters, bright people from the next generations to become teachers, because only then we'll be able to catalyze the evolution of our next generations, right? The young, when they learn from the brightest of the minds, that's when they learn the best.
Yes.
So we need to attract them. And for that, we have to make a business case. This next generation is very practical. They understand when somebody pitches them a business case with the best possibility. So I've been trying to do that. I request you to help me by pitching the teaching profession to the youngsters, that why should they join the teaching profession? What's in it? How can they get benefited, and why it would be the right choice of profession for them? So you can, directly kind of address the next generation. You can start by saying that, youngsters, next generation, here is my message, and here is my pitch for you, that how can you become, or why should you become teachers? Over to you.
Yes, I would tell with with a loudspeaker that please, please, the brightest of minds, we need you, because we used to have brightest of minds, and that's how they made engineers, doctors, professionals, researchers, scientists. We want you here in the teaching profession. And when you look at your personal gains, of course, your personal lives and certain motives, so teaching profession gives you enough. It gives you enough to lead a comfortable life, but it gives you more than that. That is a satisfaction of creating a life, of nurturing a life, of giving back to your nation, giving back to the society. And it's not that you can't, because why corporate sector attracts? It looks a little more glamorous. It looks more lucrative. So you can get, I would say in today's time, though I know some of the schools would be struggling also financially, and teachers they are not the best paid people. Also at the same time, I say that teachers should be paid definitely better than what they are being paid today, because the kind of effort is required, it is humongous. They are not only professionals, they also work with a missionary zeal. They are putting their not only head and hand, they're putting their heart also into it. So young children, I know you're at this point of time when you are young, you are idealistic and your ideology is at its peak. So keep up with that. And you would know that how much you get back in this profession is priceless. You see a child who has done so well in life, and when he comes back to, or she comes back to you and tells you that I've created this, I'm working with this organization, creating this, I'm very happy, and I'm giving back also. So that is a satisfaction that you get, which no money can buy. So, and my dear children, think of teaching as a profession. It is not only just for the name that noble, but it is really noble because you are the creator of the next generation. What happens? Technology, and this profession is never going to go away.
Yeah, I'm with you, right? Beautiful, beautiful. And I can tell you, this is one of the best pitches that I've heard. I'm going to take this out and we're going to be projecting it in different places to attract the next generations. The best thing that I liked about it was, and the last part, which is such a practical thing, I don't think there is any profession in this world right now which is not scared by AI.
Yes.
What technology will do. And I can confidently, with all this, broad chest, say that K-12 teachers will always be needed, come what technology may, because so if you're looking for a secure job and a secure future, come join teaching. We are all waiting for you guys.
Yes.
That's all for today's podcast, guys. It was a very interesting conversation. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you so much, Rishabh, for giving this platform where I could really put my thoughts into words and had a conversation with you. Thank you.
It was a real delight. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to us today. That's where we sign off for the day. We will be coming very soon back again with another inspirational educator into your favorite podcast, Inspiring Educators. Till then, see you. Bye-bye.